Chance to share or connect, but we have important things to do, and Amy has to leave at noon. So our online audience, I just want you to know that you will be turned off at noon, but you can share in the chat any questions or concerns. Michelle, our board president, will be collecting that information. And again, for anybody, if a question or something doesn't get to be addressed, please write it down, email it to the office. We will respond to that, and we will share that information universally to everyone, because I know if you ask the question, it's something everybody would want to know. So we'll find a way of getting that information out, either having a handout, we'll put it on the e-blast. We're figuring it out in the moment, but we just want to make sure that we are able to communicate with you in empowering ways every way we can. So with that, we're going to officially begin, even as people are coming to order. So I'm going to set the intention with a prayer. So I just want you to breathe in and breathe out, to bring ourselves back to order, back to harmony, back to this place, being open and receptive to know that the universe is guiding us, the leadership, the participants in this ministry, for us to move forward in abundant ways to flow. And we're inviting you to be a part of the vision. We're planting seeds, and we're an open invitation in this moment right now. So we celebrate that. We celebrate. And so it is. Amen. Michelle, I'm going to call you forth.
All right, welcome everyone. Don't mind all my paraphernalia, which does include my phone. I'm not being distracted. I'm trying to make sure we include those online, because there will be Q&A sessions this afternoon. So, number one, I'd like to welcome the board to come on up to the front so they can be present and available for any questions that people may have for them, and for their part if they have parts. And I want to welcome you to our first community gathering that includes this beautiful soul, our new senior minister, Reverend Megan Smith Brooks. Yay! It's been a few months since we had one, but I'm sure you guys remember we set these up to inform the community about what's going on, what's happening, especially with the minister search and all of that good stuff. But we've decided to continue these because they're valuable, and they're really a great way to communicate information, especially from the board. So the intention for this meeting, we're going to give you some updates, and we're going to provide an invitation to each and every one of you beautiful people that are part of this community. So first, I'm going to update us on the board. Your board, Unity of South Sound, has created for ourselves a set of core values. And we'd like to share those with you today. So as a board, your board, we are spirit-guided. And at a future time, we'll go into a little more details on each of these, but I'll give you a tidbit. Spirit-guided means we let go and let God lead us on our path with awareness. So that's the first one. We are spirit-guided. Number two, we have authenticity. We are authentic. Number three, joy. Joy. We are joyful. Number three, connection. We are all connected. We are one. And number five, kindness. Kindness. So, thank you for supporting us with our values. And also, we are committed to ongoing leadership training, whatever way that shows up. Reverend Denise introduced us to regular leadership training, and we've decided that's of huge value to us, and we will be continuing that. So that's our commitment on that as well. Today we will also update you on Unity of South Sound's finances. That's a classic update. That's important. We will also introduce you, as we already started, to the exciting Fall Faith in Action program. We're going to announce fun events, and we're going to discuss the service ministry. And last but not least, as I mentioned in a little teaser there, we're going to have an invitation to you all for you to participate. Unity of South Sound's 50th anniversary is this year. 50. We are 50 years old. And guess what? Each and every one of you is critical to what we build for the next 50 years. Critical. We are the foundation. Your participation is so important. Active participation. So we're going to do this all together, but I'm just going to put it out there right now that some of what we want is a vibrant community, a prosperous community, a joyful community. Much more that we will, I'm sure as part of Faith in Action, that's part of what we're going to be doing, creating. What is our creativity? What is our vision for the next 50 years for us and for those that come into our community? And that requires active participation on each person's part, no matter what that might be. So today, during this meeting, I invite you to open your heart. Open your heart. Let those seeds of inspiration come in. Feel them. And then follow them. Put your feet and your hands and your heart into action to help create this community and the future of it. That is my invitation to you. You, each and every one of us, online, in person, not here today, but listening on the recording, each one of us are integral to this community. We are divinely placed here. And each one of you is super highly valued by your leadership, by your minister, by your music team, and by each and every member of the community. So I thank you for being here today. And without further ado, I kick it off to Steve for the fun part with the financial update.
Yeah, the financial update. This is the fun part. Oh, look, we have a slide up there. Let's see which one that is. That's our, what these slides are year-to-date for 2022 and then for the prior year as well. And this is the balance sheet, and we just wanted to take a quick peek at it because it kind of tells us whether our assets have gone up or down, and then we'll answer the question of why did they do that? You can probably tell real easily that the assets went down this year. And what we look at mostly is the bank accounts, and that's the one that we use for our operating expenses. And you can see that it's been spent down or used. It started at $64,491 last year, and at the end of August this year, it was down to $6,673. So we've been actively using our cash accounts for operations. The other number up there is the investments. Those have gone down. We haven't utilized those until this last month. We finally accessed $10,000 of them. But basically, the decrease there, the decline there is based on market value changes and the market being down. When we look at our liabilities, that's money that we owe to other people. For the most part, we don't carry any liabilities. Last year, we did get a loan from the Paycheck Protection Loan, and so that was on the books at the end of August. It was later forgiven because it was used we used it per the requirements for it, so we didn't have to pay that back, so it was no longer there. Typically, the only liabilities we have would be payroll taxes that are pretty much the same from period to period, and so that isn't that's pretty consistent. And then you can see the current profit and loss down there. Last year we were up, $46,000, and this year we're down $60,000, and that includes $17,000 in investment market declines. So the question is, why did this happen? And so we have to look at our income, our profit and loss statement, to take a look at if we can figure that out. Can we look at the next slide? Maybe, maybe not. There we are. We can see here, we just kind of want to compare. Again, these are year-to-date numbers, so for the same period, year-to-date last year, and then year-to-date this year. So last year we had over, $159,000 in love offerings through this time period, and this year we're down to $105,000. It should be noted, we did have a single one-time contribution of $43,000 last year that we didn't get this year. So that was a special circumstance last year. And one of the things we always like to see is consistency from year to year, but what with COVID and no minister and no in-service, that kind of fell off the books. So we're kind of treading in a new territory, and so we're seeing some pretty wide fluctuations in how our finances have been operating, because this has been a pretty steady community for as long as I've been around here. And it's probably been a long, long time since we've seen any kind of fluctuations like we're seeing these last couple of years. Anyhow, you see another number that we got last year, which was a Paycheck Protection Grant of $16,900. That was a special deal provided by the government that we got to keep and use the money, which we did. We had other income as a minimal thing, and again here you can see the investment income, which is down for this year but was up last year. So when we look at the bottom numbers there, you can see that last year we were up $46,000, and this year's we're down $60,000. So that's a big swing. I guess the good news is that we did really well last year, so we had some money in reserves for us to carry through for this year. And we kind of look for that to happen when we have these kind of fluctuations, because we can't adapt to those changing contributions as quickly as we might like to. Our budget and our expenses, we'll look at the expenses quickly in just a moment. Our expenses don't always change all that much. They tend to be fairly constant. Everything seems to go up with utilities and rent. We haven't had any increases in rent in a couple of years, so we've been lucky there. But they do tend to rise over time. Looking quickly at our expenses, we can see that we did pay a little bit more for facilities during this period, but I think we had some rent forgiveness last year, and I think that's probably what changed, because we didn't really have an increase in our costs there. And then the payroll, our payroll is fairly consistent. This year we had kind of overlapping with the new minister coming in, and we've had some pay raises because that's what we get to do, is pay our people more, because they actually do a pretty amazing job around here, and they're worth every penny. The tithing, of course, is kind of follows our income, so it was up last year, and it's been down this year, which is not surprising. It lags what our tithes are when they come in. We tithe on the following month on the prior month's income. So you can see this year our expenses we had. This is the special one I forgot. No, we had the minister's candidate when she tried out, and the relocation fee. Fortunately, we don't have to do that very often. And we're hoping we don't have to do that for a while longer. But there were expenses there that we did not have budgeted, because we didn't really know what they were going to be. So anyhow, those costs were one-time things that came up to $11,000 this year. And FYI, we did get close to $3,000 back from Unity Worldwide Ministries. They have a Help Unity Grow Fund that helps communities that hire new ministers. It pays a portion of the moving costs. So of the $8,000 or so that cost to move her out here, and her husband and her furniture and all that stuff, they did pay us or return to us $3,000. So that was very helpful as well. So as you can see, our income has been down and our expenses are a little up. So just to kind of get you up to date, we're not having a fundraiser this year. So we're going to look at, so if you're holding on to your money waiting for that big auction to come by, you don't have to wait any longer. We have the opportunity right now to help bridge this gap in our budget from what we received to what we spent. If you do have the opportunity and the ability, go ahead and jump in and help contribute to us. As we move through the end of the year, we'd truly like to see us be able to move our tithes and love offerings up high enough to match what our expenses are. And we know that isn't just a single process that we do by asking for more money. It involves a lot of other things as well. And part of that we're going to see with Faith in Action, of course, and that's where we move back into bringing the community together and figuring out just not how we grow personally spiritually, but how we grow as a community spiritually, and doing that in concert. And I think we want to really look at doing that and expanding our whole consciousness of what church is for us, and as the board and minister, what it is for you guys, so that we can make it a valuable thing for all of us. So as we move into Faith in Action, that's the other step that we're going to do. Is we're going to Faith in Action has a part of it that's called intentional giving, and that's typically in the past we've had pledge programs early in the spring. And that tends to be in the middle of the year that you've already started, and then you're trying to figure out how much money is going to be committed when you've already started the year. So by eliminating the spring pledge drive, we're going to have intentional giving in the fall that's going to be forward-looking, so that when we move into 2023, we'll have a better idea of what kind of commitments we're getting from the congregation, and we can look to make our budget work around those kinds of numbers. So that's the last thing I want to say, is that's the other part about how we plan to grow our finances, because we're running out of time, right? Tick, 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 tick. Is that we do have a letter going out this week that will address Faith in Action, as well as send out intentional giving cards. And so you'll be receiving those in the mail soon. And we'll be talking a little bit more about what intentional giving is, but it is your opportunity to contemplate and take to heart what it is your ability is to contribute to Unity of South Sound as we move into the coming year. With that, we can entertain a few questions, if there are any. Do we have a microphone for Diane? Here, you can share this one.
My question is about Prosperity Plus. So we're not going to do those programs, it doesn't sound like, but it sounds like something's taken its place, and here comes the Reverend.
We would never replace that. You already did one this year, so the plan is that we will do a prosperity program in the spring. So that will be bringing awareness back into that our practice in living is how we align with manifesting through our giving. And to know that there is a balance in all things, right? And that the resources of the universe, everything's available to us. And one of the things I wanted to address too is that I know that all ministries have seen a decline in income in the last year or so because of the pandemic. And that when, for a long period of time you were not able to meet in person. And so it's really easy to realize, to forget that the expenses of maintaining a building and staff and the ministry still exist. But if you're not meeting in person, then it's easy to kind of forget about the importance of supporting that so that we can still provide for you all of the resources and the benefits of being a part of a ministry. So we want to just bring that awareness back to the intentional giving is an important piece, and that prosperity and talking about that and the practice and how it supports not only us but the ministry will be included in conversations and lessons moving forward. And either Prosperity Plus or some prosperity program definitely will be a part of the spring experience.
I got plenty of micro. Oh, which one do you want?
Prosperity Plus? Oh, she wanted to know how much money was generated through Prosperity Plus last year. I wouldn't know.
It was less than the year before that. I don't. Heidi says she has a number. Yeah.
So
we got $6,000, but we had budgeted for 14. So it underperformed.
And that depends on how many people are participating. Yeah.
Could you go through the reasons why we're not having the auction? I mean, I kind of, yes, it's pandemic and money is down and that kind of thing, but just to kind of air it. Well, clearly with COVID, it made in-person auctions pretty awkward. And the auctions didn't translate to online near as well, and I've seen that in other groups that used to do auctions as well. And so that's been a whole new thing, is trying to figure out what kind of fundraisers really work. You put a lot of time and effort and money into doing those auctions, and in one sense, it kind of ran its course here too. There's so much energy that goes into those. Sometimes you do like to find something new. So, and then of course, we need to have our tithing up to a level that's self-sustaining before you begin to fundraise. That tends to be over and above.
I just want to. Is this on? I'm not sure which mic I'm supposed to be using. And also, it's a very time-consuming process, and because of the transition of everything and getting me here this year, to get up and running from, like, say, July on, it wasn't realistic, and it's also very expensive. It cost the ministry $14,000 the last time you did a silent auction. To do that whole event is very laborious, and so we just realized that it wasn't realistic to try to pull it off this year. It doesn't mean it won't be considered in the future. But the faith in action and putting all our energy into that and inviting everyone into this visioning process is what we decided would be the most beneficial this year.
All right. Do we have any other quick questions? If not, you're welcome to email them in or whatever we need to do so that we can answer them at a later time, because I know we need to move forward here.
Yeah, please write down your questions and email them in, or if you're online, put them in the chat and Michelle will get them. I just saw one other hand. Yes, you are. It's coming up next, soon. It's just not part of the financial piece. So can we say we're concluded with the financial piece?
We can say we're concluded with the financial piece. Yay!
Oh, don't take all my pieces of paper. You took some of my stuff that was on the platform. Going to wing it. So, again, I just want to go through the faith in action an overview of the program, because this is an invitation. We want you to feel an excitement. We are coming out of the COVID pandemic experience. We're coming together to be in person, to find a collective and creative way of supporting everyone that wants to be a part of Unity of South Sound, whether it be online or in person, because we know not everybody is able to be in person or is feeling comfortable about being in person yet. And that moving forward, we realize that we are probably going to be a hybrid of this. It's a part of what ministry will be moving forward. And so how do we support the whole? The intention then was, the time is to come together, to connect, to invite, to inspire, and to revisualize, to re-envision what this ministry is. Because we're not trying to recreate the past. It isn't possible. A lot has changed with the pandemic. And the whole world is changing. And so we're all in this place of, it can be either considered scary and uncertain, but it could also be considered an adventure and exciting, because we have this opportunity to recreate who it is we want to be and what we want to create and be moving forward. The ministry of the future needs to be considered. What do we have to prepare for to be thriving down the road? So the opportunity of understanding the creative process is why this topic was chosen. So The Creative Life, the book by Eric Butterworth, takes the days of creation from the Bible, but it takes it to a place of understanding. That's a description of the creative process, which is how we manifest life. And when we can get really clear on it and feel very comfortable with it and excited about it, then our potential is unlimited. And so what if we come together as a ministry, as a community, to practice it, to demonstrate it so that we can do it in our own lives, but also what can we create together to be a thriving ministry? Yes, the numbers look like they do, but there is a lot of variables that were out of our control with the pandemic and the changes of things. But we can come back together and say, is this important? Is this ministry a part of a community that I want to participate with? And this is a safe place for us to practice things where people will support us and they're willing to think in the same way, and they're not going to say, oh, you can't do that. That's not the way the world works. No, we're going to say, yes, how would that work? How could it benefit us? And so in the creative process, we have invited some creative leaders to come together to support us with this Faith in Action program. There's the spiritual educational piece of it where you can join in study groups, either online or in person, to share your collective wisdom with each other as you learn and grow. But then there's also other activities that we benefit as a community. And so we have the Save the Dates. Is that on there? I have a hard time seeing the yellow stuff. Okay, so it's Save the Dates. And so it includes something that we're doing right now. This is like setting it up. Next Sunday, we realized, because I'm doing the membership class, we're inviting new people to make a commitment to being a part of who we are and what we're doing, to have a say. And in order to do that, we need to have some foundational grounding understanding of the principles we teach and how to practice it. Because why would we want to ask somebody to discern, voting for a new board member or different activities or anything that might be a part of this ministry if you don't have the foundational understanding of what we teach? So that's why the membership class is important. So if you're unsure and you're a member, come and join us. Get refreshed with that. So that'll be Tuesday and Thursday night this week. If you have any questions, email me at revmegan, that's MEGHAN, southsound@gmail.com, and I will get back to you. Very excited about September 30th, our prayer novena. We haven't talked about it enough. But there was a great excitement in our leadership team to bring this into experience, to really have that powerful foundation, 9 p.m. to midnight, to really be in the vibrational call to prayer and just silence, no conversation other than experiencing prayer. I will set it up and set the ground, guidelines, but then And Jennifer Richardson, thank you for your energy, because she was so excited about creating prayer stations so that you have activities to participate. And we're creating ways that we can invite everyone at home to participate as well. So please find a way to be a part of that if you can. Pancake breakfast. What a fun time, because part of our intention is to include our youth. We are a multi-generational ministry. And so Jennifer has also worked with creating curriculum from the Creative Life book for the kids. So they're going to be practicing the same thing as we do. And that's our intention, to collaborate annually, year-round, with everything we do, to collaborate with the kids. And this is a really special time for them to be able to serve us nourishment and food. And it also is a fundraiser for the kids, so it's by donation, but anything that goes above and beyond the expenses, time and energy to this community, and all the different ways will be available on sign-up sheets in the hospitality room. There'll be a member of the team to ask questions. Find a place to serve. And then October 9th, we're going to have a volunteer orientation after service to really understand why volunteering is important, what are the benefits, and then each group can break out and talk about kind of some orientation for their specific needs. We want to serve you as you serve us. So we invite you to find a way to do that. And most importantly, throughout the 7 weeks as we learn and grow, we're going to conclude on November 20th, the Sunday before Thanksgiving, with our 50th anniversary celebration, to really honor each other, but also to honor those those shoulders that we stand on, who have been a part of creating this ministry up to now. We're looking at inviting some of those people back to share their stories. We have somebody that's going through the archives to put together pictures and collaborations so that we can really see where we've been and where we are. But then also, this whole time is about planting seeds. What is it we want to envision for this ministry? It will come from each of you. Maybe you have an idea that you would like to be a part of co-creating together, because we only evolve and grow by how you show up and how you participate. And so everything that we have created has been about finding a variety of ways for you to participate and experience the wholeness of not only a spiritual community, but the principles that we teach and how it is a way of living and how we support each other in that. So I want to invite a of the team leaders forward to share a little bit more intentionally. Is Ruth here? I don't see her. Okay, so I'm just going to speak for her really quick. Ruth Rogers is facilitating the facilitator group training on tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 19th. So all of you that are facilitators for the study groups know that training is happening tomorrow, and she's been organizing all of that, and I've worked with her in creating the curriculum for the training, and I will pop in and be on that as well. And then we also have created the study guidebook so that everybody that participates, find a group that you can sign up for. This is going to be so empowering for you to study the creative process together. And the study book will give you exercises and practices to use in your life, but you can come back and share your wisdom collectively with each other in the group. It's a way of also networking, of getting to know our community, maybe reestablishing or making new friends. And, you know, and finding that it's like there are some wonderful people here that can be a part of my social network moving forward. And then I want to invite Barbara Bobble to come forward, because she is leading our creative arts team, which I am so excited about. So she has a couple of really fun things to share with you.
So I'm briefly going to tell you what we're doing, what we're inviting you into, and what we need your help with. So this is, Faith in Action is an incredibly spontaneous, those of you who have experienced this in Tacoma know this already. So I'm just holding space for this, and I think that just beyond focusing on tasks, this team is part of what's behind the scenes. And you guys have heard that saying, herding cats. Well, this is like helping dragons coalesce. I mean, the creativity that's with the people that are working with this, I mean, it's like I can't even keep up. And I'm happy about this, and I welcome it. And so I'm open to if people have the creative suggestions. So what we're working on, with that in mind, the task that we're working on is we're going to be producing a piece of artwork a week that's going to show up every week. And that's going to build over the course of the 7 weeks during Faith in Action. We're also going to be working, as Reverend Megan had said, about intentions and affirmations and visions for our community. And so those things are going to be part of a prayer flag project that's going to happen weekly. So we're going to have tables. I'm working with Jennifer already. We're going to use the kids' table. I need to talk to hospitality, but it's like, so we have some things are coming together. They're coalescing. And so I need some help, though, on a few things, because I work sometimes on Sunday. So those prayer flags are going to cover, they're going to be 8 by 10 inches in size, based on the wisdom of people on the team that have said, no, you need to do it this way. So those are going to be covering 15 to as much as maybe 28 or 30 square feet every week in the color of the week. So I'm working right now to figure out how do we display those. And it's a creative process, so that's far from being done. But I know that I'm going to need help getting them up, wherever up is. Easels, we have 3. If anyone has an easel that we can borrow for the duration of Faith in Action to display the work, because it's going to be cumulative, that would be enormously helpful. And then
I think you said that there may be some other materials that we would appreciate donations for, and we'll just, maybe what we'll do is include that in the e-blast and
Sounds like a good
those
plan.
kind of things, you could just bring them to the church or bring them to when the office is open.
Yeah. So the last thing is, I'm just inviting you all to have fun with this. This is it's an awesome process.
And thank you for your creativity, and all of you. It's like they have some really fun things planned. So it's going to be an invitation for you to participate, because we want everyone to experience the creative process in the different ways it can show up. And I just want to acknowledge Anita, who has created our graphic arts. So the cover of your study book, that visual right there is the image of, it's sort of like the lotus blossom, the unfoldment. And so what you're going to receive, you can take home today, is a poster that every week you cut out a petal that has an affirmation for the week, and you put it on the poster. And we're going to be honoring the colors, starting with white, moving to red. It's going to be the chakra system coming down the body instead of up the body. And so it's a creative way of giving you some visual practice at home. So you can pick that up and be the first to have it this week. But it will also be a downloadable, already was on the e-blast this week, for people to download it at home. And if you're having a challenge with that, we'll find ways to make sure you can get it. So all of the things that are being put into motion for you to experience to enhance this amazing process, and culminating with our celebration on November 20th. So please put these dates on your calendar. Also, Misty and Diane, I just want to acknowledge you for time's sake. Could you please stand? They are our service ministry coordinators. And they help organize with our team leaders how to recruit and fulfill the team's needs. And we are going to have a list of all of the teams. Actually, there is a sign up for them in the back, but next Sunday we're going to really put a focus on that so that you can look at the different teams. What is their purpose, and what would you be doing when you volunteer for them? And find a way to serve. It's really important, because we can only provide for you with what the people participate in serving with us to do. And I've noticed that there are a number of people that are serving in multiple teams, and I don't want them to burn out. So we really want to have this invitation to find new people to support, because even if you can do something once a week, once a month, there's various ways that you can serve so that we find the balance of order and how we can provide everything and that everyone can enjoy it in the process. So that's our goal. And so ways to get involved, and that ties into, we have a website upgrade that's in process. And so it's going to have a new face, it's going to have a functional calendar. It will be updated by the wonderful Sue Davis sitting right there, who will be our webmaster. And it will have all of the ways you can get involved in all of the teams listed, and a way to reach out to connect with Diane and Misty so that they can help connect you with the right team facilitator. We're looking at ways we can enhance communicating and supporting you, but also inviting you to say yes to serve in some way. That is going to be how we thrive moving forward. And so this fall is about revisioning, planting seeds, calling forth the unlimited potential that's inherently within this ministry that we haven't even realized yet. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Are there any quick questions? Because we've already probably had to let go of our online people, right? Yes. So we're going to make note of any questions so we can share the answers with everyone. But are there any questions with what we've shared? Right.